There's a verse I put on day 1 of my devotional. Not day 12, not day 20, day 1. And if you're ever cried somewhere you thought no one saw, in your car, in the shower, at 2 a.m., when the house is finally quiet, this is the verse I needed you to hear first. Psalm 56:8 says, God collects your tears in a bottle. Not as a metaphor for it'll be okay, as a statement of fact. He was watching. He didn't miss a single one. I want to tell you why I started here, because it wasn't random. When I sat down to write this devotional, I already knew that the first thing grieving women needed to hear couldn't be a solution. It couldn't be a 5-step plan. It couldn't even be hope yet, because hope, when you're freshly broken, can feel like pressure, like one more thing you're failing to feel. So day 1 isn't an instruction, it's a witness. It just says you were seen. That's it. That's the whole entry. I remember the season I was in when I wrote it. I had already lost my mother, and then a year later another loss came. One I wasn't prepared for, one that broke something in me that the first loss hadn't touched. And in that second wave, I remember feeling like my grief had gotten too big, too repetitive, like even God might be tired of watching me cry over things I should have moved past by now. That's the lie grief tells you if you let it sit too long in silence. It tells you your sorrow has an expiration date and you're past it. But that's not what Psalm 56:8 says. It doesn't say God collected your tears from the first loss and stopped keeping count after that. It says He collects them, present tense, ongoing, every single one. The ones from years ago you thought you already cried out, and the ones from this morning that caught you off guard in the grocery store for no reason you could explain. There's this image I keep coming back to. In the ancient world, some cultures actually used tear bottles. Small vitals mourners would fill during a loss, sometimes buried with the dead as a record of grief. A physical container for something invisible, something that mattered enough to keep. I think that's what God is telling us in this verse. Your tears are not overflow. They're not a mess to clean up before you're presentable again. They're being kept on purpose by Him. I didn't feel strong that the day I wrote day 1. I want to be honest about that, because I think sometimes people assume that because I made something to help other people through grief, I must have it already graduated from mine. I hadn't. I still haven't. Some days I wrote, He collects all your tears in His bottle, while I was still figuring out how to believe it for myself. And maybe that's exactly why it needed to be day 1, not because I had it figured out, but because I needed somewhere to start, so that didn't require me to have it figured out. If you're in a season right now where the grief feels too big, too old, too repetitive to still count, I want you to hear this way I needed to hear. Your sorrow was never a burden to God. It was never something He tolerated. It was something He watched, something He kept. You don't have to explain why you're still crying about it. You don't have to justify the timeline. You don't have to perform healing you haven't reached yet. You just have to let yourself be seen. That's the whole first day. That's where we start. If this season where you need somewhere to start to, this devotional walks through 30 days like this one. Not fixing, not rushing, just witnessing what God is doing while you grieve. I'll leave it linked below along with some free scriptures cards if you just need something small to hold on to today. Wherever you are in this, early in the loss or years in and still surprised by the weight of it some mornings, I'm glad you're here. You're not behind. You're not too much. You're seen.